What about now? Okay, now you can hear me. Now I know you can hear me. So I was saying, sorry. My mind was. Thank you, Dark Toy Lord. By the way, thank you because otherwise I would not have known. I would have kept talking, and I would not have known. So I appreciated it very much. So, so I what I was saying was, wow, my Ghostbusters video. Did y'all see this? Like I'm walking in the parking lot, and we'd seen Jedi and I had seen this before. But someone's got an Ecto 1. Hang on. Hang on. Well, you don't really need to hear it. I mean, you just see it here. Give me a second. Let me zoom in. So I'm walking in the parking lot, and I see an Ecto 1. So, pretty cool, huh? I'm like, what? So immediately I edited it with LumaFusion, which had just been released in beta on Android. Did it in the car. I'm like, I gotta get this up. I can't wait. I gotta try this. I gotta get this up. And it worked. It worked very, very well. Has a Kia Soul Ecto 1. Nice. Well, apparently, because I posted it everywhere, right? As I'm prone to do, except for LinkedIn. That's definitely not one for LinkedIn. TikTok, sadly, TikTok hasn't picked it up, but Instagram definitely freaking picked it up, like almost immediately, which surprised the hell out of me. So, hopefully, maybe I gotta wait a bit and then it'll take off. But on Instagram, it's got like 13,000 views, which is like the highest I've seen on a reel yet. And it's been shared a lot, but someone says, I know the owner of the car, super cool guy. I'm like, well, he must be. Like, hang on, I gotta add it to my story. Okay, there we go. Just you get more views. Not that, you don't really make anything with those kinds of videos, unfortunately. On YouTube, see, this is what's strange. I think on YouTube, the Ecto 1 video, the Tech Tool video did well on my old channel. The busted one got 6,000 views on YouTube. The short, so that also surprised me. No comments, but 6,000 views. Probably because it's so. By the time the reason why is because they get to the end of it and then they're watching it again. Like, the key is to keep them connected, keep them interested, right? So that I thought was pretty cool, finding that. Apart from that, I've been trying to figure out how this is all going to work, because, I'm telling you, dude, Twitter's changing, for the lack of a better word. I don't think anyone's going to come in and sweep in with a fire, do some, kind of pickup. I don't think there's going to be a fire sale, but I don't know what's going to happen. It's feasible that we're all going to wake up tomorrow morning and Twitter's going to be gone. It is feasible. I can't imagine. His behavior has been so erratic. I can't imagine this being dragged out. Like, you've got executives at the company basically saying, no, I'm out. So, it's a little concerning. I don't know if I'd say scaled way down, Steven. When you have your top executives leaving, it's not going to be scaled down. Facebook laid off 11,000, but they're still operating, right? Twitter is not operating. It lost, hang on, I don't have the exact quote tweet, but it lost, give me a second. Let me, it lost basically the head of, let's see here. Give me a second. Oh, I swear to God, this is the guy who, head of trust and safety, chief information security officer, chief privacy officer, chief compliance officer, and the person who was basically in charge of lining up advertisers. So, yeah, it's not so much going to scale back. Like, it's when you lose your leadership, it's not that anybody can like come from the bottom up. Like, it is imploding. It is imploding. No. They left. The talking executives did not get fired, at least according to news. This is stuff that happened today. Musk did not fire them, to my knowledge. At least not according to the reports that I've seen. They walked. They bounced. So, the concern is that it's so incredibly unstable, and this half-assed blue check rollout, it's catastrophic. Anybody with a brain cell could have told you it was a mistake, the way they did it. Because trust is gone. Like, you don't know, sure, you're verified to have $8, but the problem is those certain accounts, like brand accounts, are getting spoofed. And brands you don't want to mess with, especially if your platform makes money with, say it with me, folks, advertising. And then you got people who produce content who are, looking for, no. Stephen, that was last week. I'm talking about today. We're talking about the people who stuck around. So, I don't know what's going to happen. I don't think anyone knows what's going to happen, but I stand by what I believe. I believe that he's doing it on purpose. I cannot fathom anybody doing this with intention. Unless your intention was to disrupt. Unless your intention was to bankrupt the company. At which point, he's doing this intentionally. And what's aggravating, seriously, aggravating, there are people who make a living on Twitter or with Twitter, and they're helped by Twitter. So to have it completely destroyed, people are going to lose, they're losing revenue, right? A lot of ad agencies who work for companies are going to lose budget, right? They're going to lose another thing to sell into. And by the way, that won't port. Brands and stuff, brands and the way that brands have managed social won't work on Mastodon. Will not work. At least in the traditional sense of the word. It will not work. It won't. It's a different galaxy. As opposed to like Twitter, Facebook, Google Plus to a certain degree. These are all private or public platforms that are centralized. When you've got something like Mastodon, which is a part of the Fediverse or federated social media, no one person is at the center. You could have an instance that's all about astronomy, and there is one. They're about space and astronomy. You could have an instance that's general. You can have an instance that's, hyper-local. And they can all intercommunicate with each other, right? Users can connect with each other across these instances, right? But it's all open source. There's no ads. There's no potential for ads. So if anything, it's going to have to be for brands. If brands want to play along, it's a branding exercise. That's it. It's just branding. It's showing up. It's showing up and treating it like a customer service channel, but not like a marketing channel. Like, I don't think because you couldn't. You'd have to spin up your own server, and they're not going to do that. So, do I think Biden will put Musk in his place with the FTC? Well, the FTC is already watching, right? With compliance. Now, I'm far from a lawyer, far from an attorney, far from anything that could be mistaken as one. But it sounds like Twitter was already having problems with that. Something called a consent order. They were first put under that in 2011. So if the FTC finds that Twitter's not complying with that order, it could fine the company hundreds of millions of dollars. So, or billions, even billions. It's just, it's a train wreck. And honestly, it has definitely like drawn my attention by far. Like it has sucked me in. I've been getting other things done, don't get me wrong. Part of it is like, okay, figuring out where is it going to go. So I've been doing a few things as of late. Work, yes. I've had my head in MakerDeck, although the beautiful thing, MakerDeck, I gotta say, it has been busy. Like I can't even, like when I'm looking to get in, can't even get in. Like it's been busy, which is amazing. Love it. So thank you. I've been doing a little more on LinkedIn, trying to figure that out. I have been really kind of figuring out what my strategy is. Not my goals, really, but a strategy. I mean, my goals, different. Strategy is how you get there, right? And I don't have an answer right now. I don't have an answer. And this whole Twitter debacle has really thrown a wrench into the works, for sure. Hello, Celestial Rook. How you doing? Hope you're doing well. So, yeah, I have been that's where my head has been. Honestly, I've rebuilt my social graphs over and over and over again. You know, this is nothing new to me. Did it with Friend Feed. Of course, Google Plus also imploded. Now, what's interesting, Friend Feed. I want to come back to Friend Feed. Facebook owns Friend Feed. They own it outright. It's theirs. They can do with it whatever they wish. Whatever they want. Wouldn't it be interesting if Facebook came in and said, hey, Papa Bear, what if Facebook came in? Do I use graph paper? Yes, to port the social graph. I've rebuilt it over and over and over again. 3 months. Oh, that's awesome, Bipolar Bear. Thank you so much for your support. I really do appreciate it.
1981 just resubscribed for 3 months.
You're my favorite polar bear. My favorite polar bear. Papa Bear is my favorite Arizona bear. You gotta segment them. But wouldn't it be interesting? Just bear with me. If Facebook says Friend Feed now exists again, you can you import your Facebook followers over there, maybe. So you start with your Facebook followers, and Friend Feed suddenly exists again. I just think, because Friend Feed was different. Friend Feed was a lot like Google Plus before Google Plus. That was Friend Feed. Friend Feed was Google Plus, basically. A simplified version of Google Plus. Yeah, Friend Feed, if you weren't, man, I met so many awesome people that way. It was so fun. Friend Feed was so much fun. Oh my God. So many Lego fans on Friend Feed. So many. Oh my God. Great way of meeting like minds. Well, but here's the thing. It wouldn't detract from Facebook because, okay, like Instagram exists. It doesn't detract from Facebook. It's its own thing, right? It's its own, like, images. Now they're trying to cram reels in there. Instagram's its own beast. it doesn't detract from Facebook. Granted, managing cross-platform, I will tell you, is not as straightforward as it could be, as I wish it was, but it is what it is. So because I was legacy Instagram. I'm not legacy Facebook, but Instagram has a place. Facebook has a place. And because if you think about it, really, Instagram cannibalizes Facebook because Facebook's all about the feeds and connecting with friends and family and brands. Well, the same thing with Instagram. Instagram is heavier on the visuals typically than Facebook. Facebook's more status updates. Twitter is very different. Face feed would be weird. Meta feed maybe. Face feed would feed your face. But now with Twitter basically going blah, brands got nowhere to go. So there's this potential, there's this chasm. People feel they have nowhere to go. They don't like the way Facebook manages things. They're not free to do what they want to do there. They're not doing video, so TikTok and YouTube and all the like are out. Mastodon has too much of a learning curve, or maybe the world's not ready for a federated media. I would argue that we may be at a tipping point. So there's this chasm. Twitter's just quick, easy, simple. You've got a timeline that is like, here's your chronological timeline, easy back and forth. Like it's simple and straightforward. So if they basically took friend feed and they rebooted friend feed, like I think Facebook could dominate social, because then they'd own Instagram, they'd own Facebook or Meta, and then vicariously basically take down Twitter. People would, like journalists and creators and people who are looking to monetize, if Facebook's got an answer to that question or a path to that question, I'm telling you, creators would go. Quote unquote influencers would go. Media would potentially go, right? Because right now this is the problem. There's no alternative to Twitter. None. Instagram ain't it. Facebook or Meta right now ain't it. Mastodon ain't it. Mastodon could get there. It could. To know if Meta could afford to revive it right now. 11,000 layoffs. Well, those layoffs could have been, I don't know much about what they do or their plans, but I can't imagine they're at a standstill with future plans. I can't imagine, Papa Bear, especially if they've had layoffs. If the company grew too large and they weren't, they may have overshot their intention for the metaverse, and maybe they're, coming back to reality. This is more of a safer bet. The thing is, there will be a vacuum in space. I don't know if they're going to get lean and mean. Layoff excuses that they overstaffed, thinking COVID was going to result in people staying at home en masse. I couldn't tell you. I can't make I can't speculate. I can't and won't speculate. Thank you, Man Cave. How you doing, Heath?
Man Cave Hobbies just resubscribed for 21 months.
Oh, if that's what Zuckerberg said, I think it's because their plans are a little too far into the future. Too much of a moonshot. The metaverse is too much of a moonshot. VR, too much of a moonshot. Right now, the lowest hanging fruit, if I was Zuckerberg, if I was, well, I'm not, but I'm not. If I was someone at Google, I'm like, maybe we should dust off the Google Plus and do it right this time. What if we did it right this time, and let people opt in? Or if I was Facebook, I'd be like, Twitter's gonna twit. So here's my question, right? Everyone goes to Twitter when things go down, right? What happens if Twitter goes down? How are you going to? I mean, you're gonna have to go to websites. Twitter's down, and you're gonna be forced onto other platforms. Instagram won't work. Facebook maybe, but there's no. I mean, maybe Mastodon, right? Maybe, but the information resource that everybody taps, specifically those who are, looking to see what's going on, it's Twitter. Twitter first. So yeah, that's a thing. Back to IRC. I don't think that's going to happen either. But yeah, this is as someone who, I mean, I'm an information junkie, always have been. One of the reasons I've been doing the shorts, as a little, though I did the one on the one I did today was the one on the one that I've been talking, Stable Diffusion in the web. That's the one I did today. IRC is still alive out there, but more fringe channel of topics and stuff. Yep. I believe Freenode still exists. I'm pretty sure it does. Yeah, it is devastating. I mean, I remember when MySpace went away, I was like, eh. When Google Plus went away, it hurt. It really did. Because, I mean, when FriendFeed went away, it hurt. Because you spend so much time building up these relationships and these accounts that you accrue, and you've got your feed and you enjoy it. And then something happens, and then it disappears, and then you got to start all over again. I'm no stranger to doing that. I've done it damn near as far back as I can remember. As far back as I can remember. So, it's not new. I can rebuild. It's different now than it used to be. It's radically different. Now the world is... I mean, it used to be you'd see the same people, the same alphas on every platform, right? And you still do. There's still those who have an impact. For the legacy people, pre-blogging or during the blogging heyday. But now the web is... I mean, the internet is just... It's just different, right? And I don't know if... I don't know if there's enough of an allure of a news feed apart from people like me, like the junkies, right? I think more people are as evidenced, are interested in Facebook or Instagram or TikTok. I personally more interested in Twitter. Thank you.
Spitting Moon cheered X1050.
Spitting Moon, I appreciate that incredibly. Thank you very much. And thank you, by the way, for boosting my posts. I'm sorry, boosting my toot over on Mastodon. Thank you. Sorry, Silver Sunbeam. They rebuilt Steve Austin. We could do the same. That's right. You make a giant cheerleader pyramid, then the gym floor caves in. Kind of, yeah. That's what it's been like. I have hit that wall a few times. This is nothing new for me. Nothing. It's just it doesn't get any easier. I'll say that. But the key is, you're my boy. Thank you, Spitting Moon. All the more reason why, I was talking with someone, and I'd mentioned this to mods too, but there's someone I know who works at AWS, and he had joined a Mastodon instance. He didn't read the room, and he was just sharing like he would on Twitter. Don't do that. No, read the room. Someone reported him for spam. And the reason why is because he was basically spamming, right? He was using it like Twitter. I'm like, no, this is not Twitter. It's definitely, you got it. It's a community. It's social media, but it's not Twitter. It's very much connecting with other people, and to connect with other people using hashtags, following trends, providing value, having fun, being a normal person. But I even went back. I posted and I tagged the 3D printing. I used the 3D printing hashtag, and I linked off to Twitch's the Maker Deck on Twitch, and I'm like, nah, I don't want to do that because it wouldn't fit, or I feel it wouldn't fit in terms of that post, because I want that post to be valuable, right? So of course I mentioned done on Maker Deck and printed with this and done with that, but I couldn't tag anybody, right? Because there were no accounts that existed there. It works a lot like the way I explain it, and the way I explained it to actually Fix'em Dude. To wrap your head around what this means, what federated media means. So traditional social media has worked like AOL Messenger. You had to have an AOL account, right? That's how it worked. Federated media is more like email, in the sense that you could email this person even if they have that email address, and you can email that person even if they have that email address, or you could have multiple email addresses, but you can't log into your Gmail account from your Yahoo account, or vice versa, right? At least not directly. We're not talking OAuth connections. So you could theoretically set up multiple, accounts in that way. Oh, similar to what Diaspora was supposed to be for Facebook. See, there wasn't enough critical mass. I really do. I feel that there is critical mass with Mastodon and Twitter. I feel there's a bigger potential than there was with Diaspora and Facebook. There just wasn't enough time. Like, there's people complain about Facebook, but it wasn't shrinking. It wasn't going away. Well, in this instance, some people say, "Oh yeah, I'm just gonna keep hanging." And I will. I'll hang on as long as I can. But if Twitter just disappears, you're gone. So it's a different story than Facebook. Radically different story. There may be a need for a quote-unquote backup, if that's the right word or terminology to use. So, you could have multiple accounts. You could exist on multiple servers, each instance. Each instance has its own, set of rules. Each instance is controlled by, the owner. You could set up your own instance if you want. You could basically have a blog. Again, to me, that is the most incredible thing about what Mastodon is. You could have a blog again. And I think that is amazing. That is so cool. It really is. The problem is, getting, activity is a big deal. Getting people to understand it is a big deal. And knowing where it fits. So, for example, when I'm, when I post one of my, my Darth Vaders doing the Darth Vader the images, right? I'm not monetizing it, right? There's no monetization strategy. Gaining more followers doesn't do me any good, but I'm doing it because it's fun, right? Because wow, it's a part of the conversation. I will still do it elsewhere, but not being a part of the conversation is just as detrimental. I even found out something today. This is so cool. I wrote poetry at one point in my life, and oh, cool. My Mastodon server is running 4.0 now. Release candidate 1. Yeah, nice. Nice. And there's an app too on Google Play and hang on. You can do a PWA. In fact, I might have to. But you can use the app if you want. Central set of rules for the network at large, as far as uptime size, minimal content restrictions, etc. Yeah, the iOS app, I found out. I was like, I was like, well, I wonder if, because I've been using it in the web browser, and I thought, well, I wonder if the iPad or mobile app works. And honestly, the iOS or iPad app works very well, exceedingly well on the desktop. Not perfectly, but like well enough. I'm like, oh, okay, so I can see my timeline quickly. I mean, it's another go-to, right? In terms of like, you know, using or the option to use. iOS app seems sluggish. Really? I didn't have a problem. Well, I'm using the iOS app on the desktop, on the Mac desktop. It's quirky, but it works. The Android app is great on mobile. There are certain things I would change about it, but right now I'm using the TweetDeck interface on TweetDeck-ish interface on the desktop. So I found what I was saying about writing and writing poetry. There's Throwback Thursday, of course, so I participated in that. And then there's something called Verse Thursday. And so I'm like, Verse Thursday, what's that? And people write these little poems. I'm like, what? That is so cool. I'm like, no way. I have to check this out. So, give me a second. Explore. Yeah, here we go. Like, how can I pin? I'm trying to pin the Explore tab. Like local timeline I can do. Explore though won't let me pin. And so it gets trumped. Which is a little frustrating. Good way of finding out like the more popular posts or the past day or so. Including news, like trending news. Not customized for me, like on my instance. So I did a poem. Anyway, so I found out and I'm like, okay, I'll do this. Right? Neat. I haven't done that since like the early days of Usenet. You want to talk about taking you back to like the first social networks. Usenet. But, you know, I could post that on Twitter, but there's no one, it's too noisy there. But this here, this server, the one I'm on, has this hashtag trending. So I was like, yeah, I'll participate. It's fun. I used to do this all the friggin' time. Oh, by the way, I'm running through the remainder of this white filament doing these salamanders. Is probably going to be giveaways. Checking the Amazon App Store's Windows subsystem for Android. Oh, yeah, that might work. iPhone 13 Pro is slow? Oh, really? Well, the iPad app running on my Mac desktop is... how long do I have on this one? Will I make it? 4 hours. Yeah, it might be a little late. Usenet still around? Try it on your Mac Mini. Yeah, like I said, I downloaded the app. Personally, I like the Twitter or the TweetDeck type of experience a little more. Then again, I like drinking from the fire hose, right? If only, I mean, especially in the beginning, we're like, oh yeah, I've got to follow, I really want to follow this person. Or there's someone I didn't know. Or I'm following, I don't, for somehow what I did was I pinned a Star Wars column, and maybe I'm following the hashtag. So the hashtag shows up in my timeline. So you can have certain hashtags show up in your timeline, which is awesome. In your home timeline. And you can also pin, certain hashtags. Reading the federated timeline is interesting. Following people, that to me is like the biggest part of it, is following the people that that I'm interested in following, right? Like, oh yeah, this would improve my timeline. Mastodon online server might be slow if in Germany. I'm using Mastodon.social. You can migrate. I think I told you too. You can migrate accounts. You can migrate servers. Okay, what am I gonna? Oops. I can't do one. Can I do one lizard? Do I have a? Because I'm running out of this filament right now. So I can't do too much. Honestly, I have not been slicing. No, that's not enough. Let's try that. You need to have a destination account though, and .social is still full. Full still? You can, do you have, here, hang on. There's my invite link. It should work. Because you have to have an invite link in order to get in. That might help, Papa Bear. My only warning to you and everybody. I'm talking about Mastodon and Twitter imploding, primarily. We're going in and out. And Mighty Bean. I don't know, have you seen the Ecto, Ecto 1 here in town? Someone's got an Ecto 1. Yeah, I logged into Tumblr again. I'm on Tumblr as well. So I'm gonna try to remember to post over there as well. I got one. What's the one note? Oh, I got it. Someone hearted me. Someone hearted that. So I'm over on Tumblr. You got 2 check marks. I haven't paid. I haven't upgraded. I'm like, I don't know if I can justify it here. But I'm probably now that okay, Tumblr. All right, maybe the place. I feel my videos that I've been doing would work well there, like the TikTok-ish style. Although Tumblr is more visual, So the stable diffusion stuff that I run, I feel would work well. I mean, to my credit, at least it did. Because if I'm posting it once, I'm like, you might as well post it in other places. No problem, Papa Bear. Happy to help. They don't expire, Dark Toiler. Now, Tumblr, of course, is owned by WordPress or Automatic. Automatic, it would be interesting for Automatic to launch a Twitter clone. Very interesting. But I don't think they want to get into that game. Maybe they do. I don't know. The Tumblr Blue Shack is definitely a dig at Twitter. But they actually have some kind of boost account on Tumblr. Something about a boosting. There's Dark Toy Lord. Check out the Star Wars hashtag. Like, there are tons of people. Positive, too. Like, I'm not seeing, like, anybody, like... I have not seen anything toxic. At least as of yet. Of course, that could always change. I hope it doesn't change. Ever. My recommendation is use hashtags. Oh, thank you, Mighty Bean. Like I said, I have not... I think the last time, actually, I did post over on Tumblr was when I met Alden Ehrenreich. And I used to cross-post social, but I guess all those connections just kind of disappeared. So I just rethemed everything. What I'd be sharing there is basically, the little short videos that I might do on TikTok. Now I've been trying to do like a cool tech tool of the day. I've been trying at least one a day because it's valuable to people. It's interesting. You get to learn something that you maybe not have known before. So it gives me a focus more than anything. It's something that, oh, cool, and it's shareable, right? And so that was the idea. That's the idea behind me doing like one cool tech tool a day, just one a day, and the rest is just frippery, right? Upload the Ghostbusters car, or upload this, or upload that. I don't know. Maybe more people will be flocking back to Tumblr. Maybe. I don't know. I don't know if they'll go to Tumblr. Tumblr just seems different. But Tumblr, you can do all sorts of posts, but it just doesn't. It doesn't feel. It doesn't feel like. It just doesn't feel the same. Like Twitter is just more compact, immediate, real time. Tumblr just feels like blogging, which is just different. Yeah, Tumblr really well because they stopped like a lot. Oh, dude, that Flexi Factory Yeti is breathtaking. Up on MakerDeck right now. Wife's gonna give me the evil eye if I go back to Tumblr. Why? Did you love Tumblr? Were you a fan of the Tumblr? I used it. I guess I still have like a couple thousand or like 1,500 followers, which is, better than nothing. But, whether or not they still use it, that certainly remains to be seen. I'm old enough to remember Google Buzz. Its reel has fallen a bit. Its rep has fallen a bit. Oh, Tumblr? Yeah. Well, you have 15 followers. Wow. Very nice. Very nice. I'm not sure, what kind of communities are over on Tumblr. I'm not sure what the... I mean, I got, like, a like from posting the AI art. And there's no easy way that I know of. Like, here's the thing. Like, when I share, like, AI art or a video, it's easy enough to put it onto Tumblr. But, like, where was the one I was thinking of? There was one... Oh, so when I did... Because I posted Rebel Troopers. The Rebel Troopers, Play Action Toys Rebel Troopers. He was so happy. Itor was so happy. And by the way, I'm lining him up to basically be an interview on MakerDeck too. So he was happy. He says, "Look to see how diverse was the Rebel Army." Because it was very. I shared a lot of the different skin tones, right? So the problem is on Tumblr, and correct me if I'm wrong. I can't. Oh, I can type text. I couldn't figure out why I couldn't type text before. I couldn't do it before. But I guess I can now. On the hashtags get included? I don't know. I'm kind of newish to Tumblr. Let's see how this works. So if I shared that, posted to Chris Perillo, and then it says Blaze. So, like, you can actually, like, boost posts. Ah, set your post to Blaze. Sponsored to put it to the front of more people across Tumblr. So you could, if you liked what you did, you could spend money to get impressions. If what you've got, and I wouldn't do that unless, like, a post is starting to take off organically. I would not do that. I absolutely would not do that. Yeah, so I'm not sure. Yeah, unfortunately, the hypertext that copied over, it is definitely not what you want. Like, you want to actually have different. You want to use the different hashtags, right, separately. Like toy photography, or like Star Wars, like 3D printing, because that's how you find other people, right? I don't know. The problem is Tumblr doesn't say which one's more popular. Like, which one, like, is toy photography more popular? Is Star Wars more popular? 3D printing, toys, like, I don't know what's the most popular. So I gotta get I guess I have to get my feet wet again with Tumblr. And I also don't know if there's an algorithm. So anyway, it's interesting. So if I had a problem, if I was like, okay, this post is doing really well, I'd love to boost it to get in front of more people, I would do the same thing on TikTok. Like, if I went in here, I'm like, this is getting decent engagement. If I could go in here and say, oh wait, I can promote, never mind. What's your goal? Oh man, I might do this on TikTok. I got a 20% off coupon. What's your goal? Get more video views, get more followers, right? Next, default audience. TikTok chooses for you. Next, $20 over 2 days gets you this many views, which is, so you can pay for views organically. Like, this is a great way, once you know, like, what your groove is, this is the way to grow your attention, right? So I've been getting a steady stream of new followers on TikTok, and I feel like the foundation of I feel like I've got a good foundation to say, hey, my cool tech tool, right? I feel people, even normies, would go, that's really cool. And then they would start following, right? And they would watch the other videos I did. So sometimes you got to spend $20. I'm like, all right, am I willing to sacrifice a few coffees? Yes. 2 words, Google Reader. Oh, I loved Google Reader. Closest thing we have now, honestly, is Substack. Substack has an RSS reader. I haven't used it. Equalizer, I am doing well. We were just talking about social media, Mastodon, etc. Indie game dev community, pretty strong. Good fit for a microblog. Yeah, for sure. See, I don't know if I see the immediacy as much, Silver Sunbeam. I don't know if I see it as much. Great platform for the photo. Indeed. That's why I thought like the images would work really. Text updates I don't think would work as well on as much as they do on Twitter. Or say on Mastodon. Tumblr's like Twitter without the algorithm. You only appear to see the hashtag or people that you explicitly follow. Oh, that's cool. I like that. See, I like that. I really genuinely do. All right, well, I guess I'm going to have to say, wait, what? Didn't it used to be a subdomain? Oops, chrisperillo.tumblr.com. Yeah, it used to be chrisperillo.tumblr.com. It redirects now, but that's probably because of SEO reasons. Twitter. Oh. Sad. Anger-inducing. Tumblr's intended as a blog. Oh, I remember Tumblr back in the day. Feedly? Oh, I know of Feedly, yeah. A little complex, though. I don't... Hey, Mark. I don't know. I haven't... I'm not saying that Substack... I just have not done a feed reader in the longest time. I probably should. I should do it somewhere. I will be migrating to Substack for the Chris Perillo newsletter. I also set up a MakerDeck. So MakerDeck is now we're not launching a newsletter, but when we do, we've got Substack sitting right there. Sitting right there. The thing I like about Mastodon, no algorithm. Like, you set the algorithm. And I guess I could say the same for Tumblr. Although I don't know if Tumblr is going to be my thing. Because Twitter, to me, was a news feed. And it wasn't like a reading the news feed. It was just a news feed. It was hot takes feed. That's what I liked about Twitter. And so, to me, Mastodon is the closest thing I have for that. A feed reader, I don't think would do that. Tumblr does have a recommendations, but it's not heavy-handed or obtrusive. Well, I'm guessing that was the thing you could pay for to boost. So and you'd be smart, actually, if what you did, like, let's say, for example, let me explain something. if what I did and what I wanted it to do was 3D printing, and that's the only thing I wanted to do, and I posted something I was really proud of, and I wanted to grow my audience, how do I get in front of other people, right? You got to participate. You got to get seen by those people. Well, handing it to you organically doesn't work as well. It doesn't work as much, I should say, anymore. So if I was really proud of something, and that was my niche, and I knew I was going to be able to grow with that. So for example, this is the experimentation that I've been doing with TikTok. Like, okay, I'm going to try farting around here. That's kind of fun, silly, stupid, and I'm having fun doing it. But ultimately, the videos that people send to other people are the cool tech tools or the tech tips, right? The tips, the valuable things. Like, this is very valuable information. So that to me is probably my best bet for growing an audience on TikTok and doubling down on that. And of course doing the silly, stupid stuff too. But that to me, I feel when I've got something like this works really well, people love it, they've been sharing it, I need to get more people to see it. Oh, looks like I can get it in front of 5,000 other people for $20. Now that's just guaranteed. What those 5,000 people do with that is completely. I may be able to grow that 5,000 organically to 20,000 organically. So you got to be willing, in terms of being able to produce content like that, you got to be willing to look and say, look, this is the thing I want to do. I'm willing to spend $20 to get this seen by 5,000 more people, right? That's reasonable if that's what you're going for. If all you're doing is just sharing, no big deal, right? You're doing it organically. But if it's critical for you as a creator, as someone who's putting it out there, this is me wearing my creator entrepreneur cap, right? MakerDeck is very much part of that entrepreneurial spirit. It's a platform for people to share with one another, to experience something together, to not feel so alone when they're making something. And now we've launched the Mom program to help give back more to makers. Patreon's coming down the pike. We want to do an event. It's part of the same mindset. So like, what would it take? Or, because I gotta say, MakerDeck has been blessed with organic growth. I haven't seen something like that for ages. Blessed with organic engagement. Blessed. I'm talking about a workaday creator, right? Just an independent voice amongst billions, right? It's hard to stand out. So for a creator, if you're going to spend money on a camera, you gotta, and you feel like you've done something well, like this will work. Like, people organically like it and they keep sharing it. Therefore, I need to keep doing that. That's the thing that you learn with algorithms, right? When your analytics come in and you've done something and you see a spike, pay attention to that spike. Why? That is important. And so on TikTok, for example, right? Or even Instagram, right? Like, I've done a lot to try to figure out what's going to resonate, what's going to get picked up. This Ghostbusters car thing is the only thing that I've seen that has kicked off on Instagram. I have no idea why. I mean, it could be. Here's the problem. It's probably one of the hashtags that I used. I just don't know which one. And if I knew which one, then I'd be able to double down on that. So it's at 13,000 views, right? And the hashtags funny, LOL, nostalgia, Gen X movie, 80s. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to follow that up with my Garbage Pail Kids and use nostalgia, funny, LOL. I'm going to use the same hashtags and see, and I'll do it tomorrow to see if I get the same pickup, if I get the same lift. So it's experimentation. It's all about experimentation. I think it's because a lot of us makers kind of had one or two people that we could talk shop with, but MakerDeck expands that. Layer X, or layer by layer, I should say. That was the idea, really, is just being a 10 forward of sorts, a commons. because everyone that joins may not have a stream or they may have a separate channel. Either way, it was, again, putting an entrepreneur hat on. This is where I'm a better advocate. That's me. If I have a role, and I learned this actually in working at Intel and figuring out my place in things. I do well with starting something that and setting a vision, but then figuring out, okay, here's the first step. Okay, this is where we are now. This is where we need to be. Here's how we can get there. So I have no problem mapping it out. But operationally, I am not an operator. I learned this about myself. As much as I am an entrepreneur, I'm not an operator. There are people who do that far better than I do. Liz does it far better than I do. So, anyway, it's all part of the learning process. And I'm glad that we were able to launch MakerDeck earlier this year. It gave me a certain kind of creative outlet. But the problem is, I'm more than just 3D printing. Chris Perillo is not identified as 3D printing. I enjoy it. I mean, I'm 3D printing Star Wars stuff all the freaking time. Doing this with MakerDeck, doing this while I'm on Twitch. But I'm also interested in 1,000 other things. Social media has been horrible because everyone wants to pigeonhole you. This is why I love Twitch, because I can just babble on and on and on about whatever the hell I want. Y'all are welcome to stay or go. But it's never really going to be about one topic. It's going to be about what's on my mind. Garbage Pail Kids. I still have to slot those new ones too. Lego. So, what cameras would I recommend for streaming your 3D prints? If someone hasn't answered that yet, Rupert, there are many options. Some people go as well. In my humble opinion, use a smartphone that you're not using anymore, connect it to your computer by way of re-incubate camo, and done. Then use OBS. Done, Rupert. Re-incubate camo, additional smartphone or tablet, PC or Mac or whatever, and then OBS on it. That's it. It's hard not to see the MakerDeck market everywhere. People love it, embrace it. Well, Spinning Moon, part of that is, and this goes back. Remember the early days? I was talking a lot about community for a good reason. MakerDeck spun out of that need for providing a place that didn't yet exist. We have Discord. Hell, everyone's got their own Discord server, I'm sure. This Discord server, that Discord server, but they're walled gardens. Each Discord server is a walled garden, and 3D printing is, it's everybody doing everything everywhere and finding them. You can find them on Twitter. You can follow them on Twitter. Sure, you can see what's going on there. Tumblr, yeah, there's any social media. But on Twitch, discovery wasn't always straightforward, or hasn't been straightforward. And part of community, it's not what, community is about what you're able, that providing that sense of belonging, right? And tapping into the greater 3D printing community that already belong, right? That you've got, whether we're talking about events like ERF and MERF or just, existing out there, right? Community is this nebulous concept. And I had seen so many people, much like myself, streaming and 3D printing, but inevitably, when you'd go and see just one printer, the person may have just been using it. I'm not saying everyone did, but they may have just been using it to monitor, right? And there's no interactivity. Well, Twitch is an interactive medium by its very nature. So iterating the idea upon that idea and saying, look, this chat can now exist. This perma-chat, this perma-stream can now exist and become a place where people can meet each other. A 10 forward, right? People can stream in together, right? Different. I mean, that doesn't keep them from doing their own thing at all. So it's been validating to see as much of the greater 3D printing community accept it, because community is not always accepting of new things. It isn't. In fact, if you want to see a case study in that, look at what's happening even with Mastodon. There are some people who have been using Mastodon that are like, dude, don't come on here spamming. Don't come on here doing this. Don't come on here doing that. I'm like, hey, well, number one rule with community is you got to lurk first. You got to hang out first. And then you're okay, this is the flow. But the thing is, with social media, ain't my first rodeo. I've done this before. It comes very intuitive to me. Very intuitive. It is very intuitive, I should say. It comes intuitive. It's intuitive to me. Operationally, that's why Chris Perillo has Pezlis. Indeed. So much goes on behind the scenes. It does. And like and even when I'm busy with work stuff, and I've explained to Liz, I'm like, I act more like a program manager, a founder, certainly, CEO for the lack of a better one, for this project, DBA Locker Gnome DBA Maker Deck, because taxes got to get paid. Yay, taxes. So anyway, it's but it only sat that Maker Deck. I will say, it's not 3D printing is not my only thing. It just isn't. It's not. I mean, it's a part of me. Yeah, I love it, but it's not. I love it. I love watching. I love seeing what people are doing. I want to do it too. I'm participating in the Toys for Tots. I'm supporting as much as I possibly can. Printing as much as I possibly can. But it's not my only thing. So I can't, as much as I'm there to fuel and serve and enable, I want to fart around too. I want to do silly videos. I want to go off on tangents. So it's an ebb and flow. It's a Chris Perillo personality versus an interest of Chris Perillo's, if that makes sense. Hadn't thought of the old smartphone idea, Rupert. Happy to help. See, I wouldn't use a dedicated webcam or a camera. I would use a smartphone. You realize you just gave a masterclass? I did? I probably should, huh, Spitting Moon? Just wanted to drop in and say hello. Well, hello, 3D Printed Visions, or Printed Visions 3D. Sorry, I transposed there. That was unintentional. Unintentional. Well, maybe, Spinning Moon. I actually have a meeting with a company that I got connected with someone who I met on Empire Avenue years ago. He used to be local and he moved to Arizona. They're a production company that help do courses, and I'm like, maybe I should do a master class in community. Maybe, the world needs it. I would have someone look over it before I did it. Like, here, I need you to gut check. I need a gut check. Like, does this work? Because I feel like if there's something I could speak on, it's not so much social media. Social media is an outcome, right? An outcropping. Community it's always there. It's with you. It's in your heart. It's the thing that you're passionate about, right? So I'm passionate about 3D printing enough that I want to talk about it. I want to share it. I just love seeing it, right? It's fun. But I'm passionate about other things too. And it's following those passions. And so I try to abstract, it's hard on social media when you're a person because you get indelibly intertwined, this personal branding, you get intertwined like this. I had this problem, and I still do for years with tech. Okay, I can't, for whatever it's worth, I can't let it go. Like, it's just not, it's going to be a part of me. The problem is that tech, the way I've done it, doesn't sell.
Spitting Moon gifted Printed Visions 3D a subscription. Spitting Moon gifted a tier 1 sub to Printed Visions 3D. They have given 19 gift subs in the channel.
So when I say tech doesn't sell, I can't sell courses on how to set up an iPhone. It's not. I can give tips and like, okay, do this, do that, do this, do that. And that works to a certain degree. But it's abstracting that what I learned by producing tech content that I felt was a deeper value. And community is like one of the... MakerDeck is probably the most recent, probably a better example of my understanding of community. And it's it's contemporary. It's this year, 6 months old, 7, 8, however much we're up to. Which is relevant, right? Because it tells me that everything that I learned in the mid-90s with community is still relevant today. Still. That's not going to change. And unfortunately, a lot of companies don't think about their community. They don't build for their community. And you need to, right? It doesn't mean that you have to listen to everybody and what you should do this, you should do that. I'm like, yeah, it's not practical. Sometimes you have to say no. No. There have been a lot of really good suggestions, and some are, applicable. But when you've done it long enough, you're like, okay, the amount of time that it would take to do that would not help, would take away, right? It's a calculation. And it's it's a back and forth. It's a dialogue, because you only have so much time in the day. You only have so many resources. So the question is what are you going to spend your time on? And that's where my head always goes to content. I mean, it really does. I mean, I'm a content creator. Like I'm just making it all the time. I'm literally in the parking lot. I see the Ecto 1. I grab my phone. I'm like, this is going to be a TikTok. Done. I even I even edited it in the car. So I downloaded this it's a local company, actually. LumaFusion makes an app called, or is it called LumaFusion? Luma Labs makes LumaFusion. Oops. Anyway, it's a mobile video editor. Works on iOS and Android now. So the Android's in beta, but it works really well. So if you're looking for an iMovie alternative on iOS, you might be, you might not be. Is it LumaFusion? Well, it's $19 right now. That's discounted. I had I do the Google has the Google rewards where you can earn like 50 cents for giving an opinion or whatever. And I've used that. And so I've accrued all this, free money. So I'm like, okay, so I spent $19 and very quickly, I didn't wait until I got home to do this. I'm like, I just dragged it up into the timeline, click. I mean, there's not really too much of a learning curve, but just the basics. I was able to do just on this device, on the S22 Ultra. I was able to put together the video easily enough. I'm not sure I'm in love with the interface. I think next time I do use it, I may end up using the stylus, because I wasn't really happy. I mean, I didn't fat finger anything, but it was a bit of a challenge sometimes because I'm still getting used to it. But the Android version lives up to the iOS foundation. Anyway, I'm always looking for tools like that. I'm not sure those are the types of tools that everybody wants to know about. I feel like everybody, being everybody, wants to know tools that they can use immediately, right? And so those are typically going to be web-based tools, typically. I don't know enough of a breakdown of who's watching. My iPhone tip took off, certainly, but I think that way, like, okay, well, who's watching? Where are they watching? What are they going to use? So for this example, I mean, like, are you looking for a good a mobile video editor? Check out, LumaFusion, right? Don't worry, it's on both iOS and Android. Within minutes, you're going to be editing videos like a pro. And no, they didn't pay me to do this video. Just like Reincubate Camo did not pay me to do their video. They would pay to boost it, but that's about it. Think about this. Final Cut still isn't available on the iPad Pro. Yeah, You know, it's surprising it isn't. I mean, iPad Pro definitely has the juice, right? It's got the power, for sure. It's absolutely got the power. Oh, it has the power. It's got the touch. It's got the power. Sorry, now I got that song stuck in my head. You got the touch. Do y'all remember that? Maybe I'm the only one. Creators wait every year for it. It's possible they'll do it. I believe if Apple releases a larger iPad Pro screen, it's my feeling, I could be wrong, I feel the convergence of iPad OS and Mac OS is imminent. And I feel that Mac OS would work better on an iPad. Granted, I don't know if I'd want to use Mac OS on an iPad with a touchscreen. I say that now, but it wouldn't. I'm like, may not be a bad idea. Because think about it. They've got, I mean, it's possible. I don't think it would cannibalize, but that would get a lot of their pro apps onto the iPad. I don't know if I'd want to. I've used iMovie in a pinch. It's been years, though. It's really been years. I haven't touched iMovie. Since I got Final Cut, I'm like, yeah, I'm done. And I was only on, I had an earlier version of Final Cut, but I'm like, this is unintelligible. And then Final Cut Pro 10 came out and people were complaining. I'm like, this makes sense. And I'm like, I like this. This is clean. So I've been on Final Cut Pro 10. And it's a beast. And it works well. But in a pinch, mobile, like I said, my only problem is the elements on where is it? LumaFusion. The elements are a little small, like, so I'm still getting used to like the interface. Like, see, I'm trying to like scroll with my finger, and it's like sometimes it wants to go and sometimes it doesn't. So I don't know if the pen is, or the style, it's necessarily stylus enabled, because like it just feels like I can get like more precise with the pen than my finger. But the touch targets, or the tap targets, aren't too bad. So yeah, for the first time using it, I even tagged him on Twitter. Yeah, I tagged him on Twitter. Hey, Royal Nomi, good to see you. I know I owe you a text. I owe so many people texts. I owe so many people replies. I know I do. And just as soon as I figured out Instagram's now embedding pretty well on Twitter, or at least not on the mobile apps as well, but desktop way better. I was able to, on Star Wars Radar, more easily cross post on from Star Wars Radar. The Star Wars Radar Instagram account. Although I also have it. I can't do Tumblr because Tumblr doesn't. The Tumblr integration, unfortunately, doesn't work with 2FA, and I don't know if that's a problem with Tumblr or if it's a problem with That could be a shortcoming with Tumblr. Man, there are so many friggin' spam accounts on Instagram. This guy is just crazy. Like, he just shows up and spams, DM this to me. I'm like, what are you talking about? Promote it on. Like, just the spam that I see is just crazy. On Instagram. It's very weird. Do y'all see, like, those kind of comments sometimes? I could be the only one. Instagram's always full of spam. Instagram is interesting. I have purchased things on Instagram. Like, people have done sales. I follow a few people who do sales. Like, if I pop open my feed here, that's the Star Wars Radar feed. So someone sells like Hydrolot, Geek 3PO, right? I follow like action figures for sale. Star Wars, that's basically my feed. Star Wars, action figures, toys. That's basically it, right? And I don't even know. I think I can go up here. Like, so I've got subscriptions, following, and favorites. So these are the ones that I'm following. And it's not, I mean, I really don't I don't watch the people I'm following so much. Let's see, look, Muscle by Mattel, made in Japan. $50 to get this lot of muscle figures. I have, there's an Weird Al. Of course, I follow Weird Al. But did you know that in Instagram you can tap Instagram and choose either subscriptions, following, or favorites, or the home feed, right? Oh, by the way, subscriptions is something. If you go over to your homepage, my homepage, I think you can create. Yeah, you can go subscription. You can actually add a subscription. No one's paying for a subscription right now. I'm not making that the content I'm making is not that compelling. The upsell is not that compelling. At least not right now. Uh-oh. You only have some of your social to keep up with your kids, not active on most of them. See, I just eat it up. I love it. I mean, it's I don't really watch TV apart from entertainment, right? My shows. And I'm in between right now. Now that Andor, 2 more episodes for Andor? Yeah, I don't keep up with my family as much on social. Not really. I never really use it. News is my #1 social. The reason I use social media is probably news, primarily. That's why I Twitter. Do I think Biden will put Musk in his place with the FTC? Well, I think the FTC will. I think we talked about that, Phantom. Yeah. I think that whoever the president happens to be at the time should absolutely expect, especially this is okay. So I've seen sentiment from people like who work for government agencies or know those who work in government agencies, and Twitter is the way they get out information, right? It's the way they disseminate information because there's no other official channel for it. Facebook's to keep up with family. Yeah, see, I guess I don't really, maybe I don't really like what my family shares. So it's kind of like, I'm good. I don't need to see everything. I'm fine. Otherwise I get upset and then, want to have a Thanksgiving argument. I don't want to do that. Not something I would want to do. Which is why you're on Twitter. Yeah, that's Fix'em Dude. I'm kind of the same way. I mean, family is family. Let me put it this way. I went through recently on my Facebook friends, and I've been doing this with LinkedIn too. At the beginning of LinkedIn, I just added everybody because I was like user number 700 on LinkedIn. That's not a joke. LinkedIn probably knows my user account number. They used to surface it, but I don't know what it is at this point. But I'm under user 1000 on LinkedIn. I was like one of the first people to sign up for LinkedIn. So, last person to use it, but first person to sign up. I treated it like every other social network. And so I was like, oh yeah, cool, I'll connect with you. Yeah, it's great to connect with you. And then I realized this is just gumming up my feed. So now if I don't recognize your name or where we connected, I'm just going to quietly disconnect slowly but surely, pruning, not going like on a, hog wild necessarily, but slowly but surely pruning. Man Cave Hobbies, that's why I'm not following. Yeah, I'm not. I can't speak for my family's political beliefs. I happen to be someone who's diametrically opposed to them, and I've made it very clear that there are, I think the word I've used before, consequences. And, everybody's welcome to say what they want to say, but, don't be surprised if, people change their patterns based upon the things you've decided to do. It's cause and effect. I was very clear about that. Cause and effect. If you want me to pay attention, the political stuff I feel sometimes is better over a beer, right? Or better over dinner sometimes. Getting into it on Facebook is just nuance, especially when you start getting to sharing the political memes. And trust me, there's some that are funny, but it's just like, okay. And there's some, that's where I go back to the news, and that's where I tend to follow people. I do not really follow outlets as much as I do people. Which to me, if anything, if there's a promise of social media, it's following people, not necessarily outlets. Guarantee Man Cave, I guaranteed I have not seen anything that he's posted. Paper City Gamer, I appreciate that.
Paper_City_Gamer just resubscribed for 7 months.
Thank you. Very appreciated. No, seriously, thank you. Although I'm not much... I'm a horrible gamer. I'm a horrible paper. I'm a better paper than I am a gamer, actually. It's probably the better way to put it. Better paper than gamer. God, we've covered a lot of ground tonight, haven't we? Like a lot. Not just Mastodon and Twitter. Huh. A little bit, not exactly a little bit of everything. I have nothing to showcase. Nothing that's here. Continuing to print. To make prints. Someday my prints will finish. These white... I feel like I might be able to get 2 or 3 battle droids out of this white. Salamanders will go as gifts. These, unfortunately, the salamanders are not the alligators. The alligators are the ones that are going to Toys for Tots. So I'll probably be continuing this print, the prints of the alligators tonight. The thing is, different generations are all together in one place, so things get hot at times. Well, it's not so much that. It's just different schools of thought, shall we say. And it's nuanced, unfortunately. And you know, I've tried to reason with the unreasonable and find that it's just it's easier for me to just save my breath. I will just save my breath. Because otherwise, nothing good's gonna come from it. Nothing. Again, it's the same philosophy of, at the end of the night, am I just going to zone out and watch the news? Nothing good's going to come from it. Or am I actually going to do something that's somewhat productive, right? And I'd rather do something productive. Talking to y'all. It maybe not be quote-unquote productive in that sense, but like, it just feels like I'm spending my time doing something that I enjoy, something that is cathartic. So it's a chance for me to kind of get out of my head, right? So we're gonna raid Michael Aranda. He raided us last night. Looks like he's a developer for games, but it looks like he's playing a retro game. He's playing what is it? Sanitarium? It looks very retro. So we're gonna surprise Michael with the raid. Fan of retro, fellow creator. He used to YouTube a lot, but much like the rest of us, the world changed. So thank you for being here. Thank you for helping. Thank you for hanging. Thank you for supporting me, for supporting my projects like MakerDeck. Thank you for being you. Thank you for following on Mastodon. Thank you for hearing me out. I'm probably going to be recording a couple of special videos on YouTube about Twitter and Mastodon, if only to make people aware and to kind of help them along on things. So here we go. I love you. I appreciate you. And at this point, I'm going to leave you to your own devices. May the force be with you always. Rating Michael Aranda, returning the favor in 3, 2, 1. See you on MakerDeck. Oh, Seoris. Seoris is here. I missed Seoris. How did I miss Seoris? All right, Michael. Looks retro. Sanitarium. Never heard of it.